welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. And so today I wanted to tell you about something happy to kick off the year. I plan to end the year with this, but internet's being mean, so we're gonna start the year with this, and it is my favorite reads of 2022. Now this was a lot harder to put together than the worst reads of last year, because while I didn't have a lot of 5-star reads, I had a lot of really good 4-star reads, and a lot of the times it wasn't so much a book as a whole series that I just absolutely devoured, and I figured this is an appropriate setting because a lot of it was fairy tales that I read and thoroughly enjoyed the whole series. So this isn't in any specific order, these are just, I really enjoyed these. Hopefully you enjoyed some of these too. I will kick this off with one of my absolute all-time favorite authors, is Christopher Moore, who released Razzmatazz last year, and it's the sequel to Noir, which, as you can guess, is a noir-style book. But it features aliens and takes place in San Francisco. So, yeah, we've got like the 1950s detective vibe, and a little kid that thinks cheeses and random, objects are cuss words and is trying very hard to be, all tough guy, cussing at people, and it's just freaking hilarious. And we've got a pervy alien and a little razzmatazz going on. We've got dragons. We start off with, he kicks off the novel in a way that makes the triad sound like the good guys at the beginning. Because only Christopher Moore can do that. And then they devolve into the bad guys that they are today, but still. It starts off really freaking cool and just keeps that momentum going, laughing from beginning to end. So, yeah, if you have a off-the-wall sense of humor, go check that one out, or pretty much anything else he has ever written. Make sure it is Christopher Moore, not Christopher G. Moore. They are two different people, and one is not at all like the other. Trust me, I looked into that because I got all excited at one point. Another one that I thoroughly enjoyed, well, I like the whole series, but for me, the Four Legendary Kingdoms really stood out by Matthew Riley. It's all part of the Jack West Jr. series that actually starts at book 7. But most of them, it's all kind of building up to save the world from this. Basically, the universe is pissed off at humanity and determined to off us. And there's some, astronomical thing that they have to stop from happening at, every book. I stopped at book 3 because I haven't been able to find a less than $20 paperback version of the last 2 books. And to me, that is just, no, I do not pay $20 or more for a paperback. So I'm still on the lookout for those. But they're mostly 4 stars for me because they are very entertaining. But the way that the heroes get out of stuff, sometimes you have to kind of gloss over that or it will tick you off. Or how stupid the bad guys can be if the world can end. So, if I don't save the world, then, to hell with it. Or, how did this good guy survive? Like, it's the equivalent of standing next to a grenade and with nothing in between you and walking away from it like you just took a stroll around your backyard. That kind of stuff happens, but in this 4th book, we don't have those what the heck, that should not have, he should have been dead experiences. And it brings in a lot of, Greek mythology and going, yep, this is where the Olympics came from, this is where Hercules and all that stuff came from, and we're bringing it in here. And it's this cool mix of save the world action and Greek myth, and it's just a lot of fun. And I also loved James Rollins put out 2 novels last year, and he's doing it again this year, and I'm so excited. Yay! But we started off with a fantasy, which he used to write under James Clemens. He did fantasies, but I own one, but I've never read anything by him under that. So my first foray into this was his Moonfall saga. And it's freaking amazing. I love it. I am so glad the sequel is coming out next month. That is one I will be shelling out 20 odd bucks for probably, because I need that hardback. I've waited a year. I am not waiting anymore, actually be a little over a year since it came out January 4th was the first one, and it'll be like February 8th when the, one comes out this year. So, yeah, I need that one. It ended on a freaking tearjerker, but it was still really good. And it's basically, the universe is determined to knock off people. We have made them angry, and the earth no longer spins. So we've got the little crown, the starless crown, because, where it's, habitable, and you've got one side of the earth is completely frozen, the other side of the earth is always daytime and just barren desert. Nothing can survive close to the sun at all times. And the only hope for this is because now it's not just as if that ain't bad enough. Like, the universe is just, no, we are going to come down and crush you. The world will be obliterated unless something happens. But our attempted group of heroes are being hunted down and on the run because, they've all got different backstories and have, kind of collided into each other and are just a bunch of misfits, and it's a mess that they're found themselves in, but oh, it's so good. And then, of course, there was Kingdom of Bones, also by James Rollins, that I freaking loved that one. It's Sigma Force, it's Kowalski being Kowalski and mouthing off and getting into fights and trouble, and we've got, the history and the science all blending in, and this time they're running through the Congo trying to keep this virus from taking over the world and killing tons of people, which could have been stopped in its tracks months ago, but some rich prick was using it to, well, hey, if it decimates my competition, I can get all this for super cheap, because, a couple $1 billion, psh, who can live more than a year off of that? Yeah. Sucker had to die. And I love the way it happened, too. Lovely. It's one of the things that makes me so happy about his books is, we know that ain't gonna happen in the real world, but I love seeing him bite it in poetic justice in the books. I like it to pretend it's real for a few hours. But like I said, also there was a lot of series that I really loved. Like, there was the Osseous Chronicles, mainly, the Blood Witch was the one that started off by Ivy Asher. And it's this chick that they know magic is real, but it passes through the family. But she never expected to be the one in the family that got the magical powers when Granny went, toes up. And she did not want those frickin' powers. There was a lot of F-bombs upon finding out that she was the new Bone Witch. So, yeah. And it's just a short little series that gets spicier as we go along. But it was adventurous, it was magical, it was romantic to an extent. And just, sarcastic and sassy. And if you're having a problem with foul language, skip this series, because, oh honey, it is not for you. There is a lot of that going on even before we get to the frisky ending of the series. But it's just, it was fun. I got them on Kindle, probably like 300 oddish pages each. Very quick reads, so much fun. And as I promised, lots of fairy tales. And so the first one that I got into was, I got excited because there was a Little Mermaid retelling, and you don't find a lot of Little Mermaid. I found a billion bells, most of which were good, but not a lot of Little Mermaid, except for a series by Laura Burton, which is Fairy Tales Reimagined. And I think she's currently writing number 7, or it just recently came out and is on Kindle Unlimited, and it's Cinderella's story. But it's a, 6, going to be at least 7 book series that I devoured them. We've got Peter Pan, we've got Little Mermaid, we've got Belle, we've got Snow White, we've got, Red Riding Hood, and I don't care how many times you have watched those movies or had your parents read you the little stories, you have no idea what's gonna happen on these, because it's like, wait, those two hated each other. Those two liked you. Wait, what? And it all ties together, which is kind of hard to figure out at first. Like, okay, it's this one story, this one story. Oh, we wrapped around back to that. What? That's freaking cool. I did not see that coming. I just was excited that my character got mentioned. But it was just, they took the fairy tales and completely reimagined them. Kept, just enough that you recognize, your favorite princesses, but you are not going to know these stories, and it's very exciting. Another one that I really loved is a darker twist was by Anita Vale. It's just a little 4-part series that, again, I just absolutely devoured. Was, the Dark Queen series. This is the Dark Fairy Tale Queens, and we've got Belle, we get Snow White, we got Cinderella, and we get a little bit of Hansel and Gretel in there, and oh, it's so freaking fun. They, like, all the princes, they're supposed to be sweet little damsels. No. Even Rapunzel is plotting and evil, and she's the nicest one of the bunch. So, yeah. These are not the sweet, lovable fairy tales that you remember. These princesses we're gonna rule the world. So, get out of my way. Or else. But then it's still a fairy tale. It's still young adult. We do get our happy ending, but it is not at all what you're expecting at any turn. So again, it is so much freaking fun. It's just a little short thing on, Kindle Unlimited. Actually, most of them I think were barely 200 pages, except for the ending, which is Bad Beauty. So much fun. And the last one, I'm still trying to get my hands on the 3rd book of the series, is Betsy Show. It has a Storymakers series. And we start off with basically, it's kind of Wizard of Oz retelling. And we end up meeting Robin Hood and the Lady of the Lake. And I'm not sure who we're going to get in the 3rd book. So, but the first 2 were just, wait, I've seen these. What? That is not how that happened. It's basically, think if Wizard of Oz was made by Disney, and so we have our, cursed princesses that, waiting for their prince to save them, except for, modern day princess. She ain't waiting for no man to save her. She can take care of her own business. Get on my way. But it doesn't quite work, because our princess is a out of touch with reality, teenage princess who lives for fashion, and is now out in the real world fighting, a very deadly witch. Oh, and a servant that's, I freaking hate you. I've had to serve you my whole life. I ain't helping you. If anything, I'm gonna help the witch, because bump you. So, yeah, I had so many fun reads this year. So I hope you enjoy some of these, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.